מצוין, נעשה את זה בעברית. אוקיי, אפשר באנגלית. אנחנו כאן בדרך כלל, באינטרמצו של החינוכית, לא נוהגים להתחיל עם קליפ. אבל מה? הפעם יש לנו כזה קליפ, מי שיראה אותו לא ישכח. אז בואו נתחיל עם הקליפ שלנו. תמר, אז מה את אומרת? היה שם די קר ברחובות של ניו יורק.
היה קפוא. אני איבדתי תחושה באצבעות, ולאנדריאס היה אף שכמעט נפל.
ואת ניגנת עם כפפות ועם הכובע הזה.
נכון.
וזה הזמן גם להציג אותך. תמר halperin. שלום תמר.
שלום
מה
אריק.
שלומך תמר?
תודה רבה.
Andreas, that song by Schubert was meant for a woman.
Yes, it's part from a play, The Lady of the Lake.
The lady.
Lady of the Lake, and it's a lady named Ellen singing the Ave Maria.
But when you sang it, it made it so universal, and I thought that was a message, wasn't it?
I think in general the countertenor voice or contratenor voice is something strange to most people, and ideally we make it sound universal.
It is a prayer of a young lady, isn't it?
Yes, it's I think a community of people hiding out in the rocks, in the mountains, and they're threatened by someone, I don't know the precise story, and then she just prays that everybody will be safe and well protected.
Could be a girl, or maybe a boy.
Absolutely. I think many of these prayers are universal. We traditionally say, oh, this is a woman singing, this is a man singing, but as long as the message itself does not identify, it doesn't say, oh, listen to me, the girl, or something, I think even that is okay. I sang also Mary Magdalene in old oratorios.
Tell me, Andreas, what's the difference between a boy soprano and a lady soprano?
I think probably the physical strength of the voice, that the boy soprano has more fragile vocal cords and doesn't have the strength of a female soprano.
And the purity and...
Purity, of course, is probably greater with a boy soprano.
And less vibrato? Or?
Yes, also, yeah.
And when you sing in a contratenor?
It's the continuation of my boy soprano voice. I sang in this boys' choir, the voice broke, and I continued singing with my head voice. So to me, it's my natural voice.
I must ask you, why contratenor? Contrabass is a lower.
Mm-hmm. It's the term itself comes from early polyphonic music, when somebody composed a melody, which was called tenor voice, and then he made a counter voice, which was called contratenor, and that's where the name comes from.
And then one day, you met Idan Reichel.
Yes.
How was this meeting?
It was...
you are German, he's an Israeli?
I was introduced to Idan's music through my wife Tamar, who gave me a CD, and we are both big fans. And then through another friend here in Tel Aviv. He organized a meeting. We met him in the cafe in Tel Aviv.
תמר, תגידי לי, איך בא כל הרעיון הזה של אין שטילר נחט?
עידן שלח לאנדריאס מנגינה, וביקש שאנדריאס ימצא לה טקסט בגרמנית. ואנדריאס חיפש בכל הטקסטים שהוא מכיר בגרמנית, ובמקרה יצא ששיר שאנחנו מנגנים בתוכנית הקלאסית שלנו, בעיבוד של ברמס, הטקסט שלו, אין שטילר נחט, זה טקסט עתיק, והוא מתאים בדיוק למנגינה של עידן.
זה מדהים, אז בעצם היה קודם השיר, ואחר כך התאמת המילים.
בדיוק.
ועידן קיבל את המילים הללו? זה מילים די עתיקות, לא?
זה מילים עתיקות שמספרות על מישהו שנמצא לבד בלילה ומקשיב לדממה, וזה מתאים מאוד למוזיקה, אני מאמינה.
ואנחנו מקליפ אחד אל קליפ אחר. Andreas, I understand that you made this clip. Yes, I love filming video, and I have I would say, semi-professional equipment. So Idan knew that I love to film, and he said, if you want, why don't you try to make a video clip of this? And then I became very ambitious, so we went to Frankfurt, to the city, and we recorded in our studio and in a recording studio in Tel Aviv. And over one weekend I sat on my computer and I made this video. In stiller Nacht zur halben Nacht, ein Stimme kommt zu klagen, der nächt'ge Wind hat süß und lind zu mir in Klang getragen, von helbem Leid und Traurigkeit ist mir das Herz zerflossen, die Blümelein mit Tränen rein, hab ich sie all begossen. Der schöne Mond will Untergang für Leid nicht mehr mag scheinen. Die Sterne lange blitzen starr mit mir, sie wollen weinen. Kein Vogelsang noch Freudenklang, man höret in den Lüften, die wilden Vierter noch mit mir, in Felsen und in Klüften, wohin ich will, wohin mein Blick sich wendet, stets begleitet von meinen Sorgen, ziehen mit bis an das Ende, in dem Herzen tief verborgen.
תודה רבה לתמר, איזה קליפ יפה. קליפ
תודה רבה.
מרגש. Thank you, Andreas. It's extraordinary.
Thank
Thanks
you.
a lot. It says in my notes, Whaley Whaley.
Whaley Whaley is
Whaley Whaley.
Whaley Whaley. It's an old English folk song. And actually, I never met anybody who could explain why it's called Whaley Whaley. Some people also call it "The Water is White," which is the opening phrase. It's an old anonymous English folk song, and I sing it for many years. Beautiful melody.
About 400 years old? Or?
I would say around 400 years old. Yeah, that's the nice thing about these folk songs. They were never printed on a piece of paper. They are oral tradition. People sang them anytime, any place. So we don't know where they come from, who wrote them.
Whaley Whaley.
neither have I wings to fly. Give me a boat that will carry two, and both shall row, my love and I leaned my back up against some oak, thinking that he was a trusty tree. But first he bent, and then he broke, and so did my false love to me. Oh, love is sweet, and love is fine, and love's a jewel while it is new, but when it is sold, it groweth cold and fades away like morning dew.
Thank you, Andreas, for bringing this incredible magic of old British songs. Thank you. It was wonderful.
Welcome.
Thanks. Thanks. תמר, מי איבד את זה לפסנתר?
אני איבדתי את זה. יש אלפי עיבודים לשיר הזה, ומה ששמעתם עכשיו זה עיבוד שלי.
עשית מלאכה נהדרת. את יודעת למה? כי השיר הזה הוא כאילו במז'ור, ואת עשית אותו כזה חולמני ועצוב.
אני חושבת שהשירים האלה הם עתיקים מדי מכדי להיות במז'ור ומינור, אז אני משחקת על הקו תפר הזה שהוא בין מז'ור ומינור באמת.
ואת גם משחקת על איזה קו תפר בין עתיק ומודרני.
נכון.
תראי לנו את ההרמוניות של הפתיחה, מה עשית? ככה לא כתבו לפני 400 שנה.
לא, זה מאוד מאוד...
זה נהדר איך את עושה את המיקסינג הזה, בראבו.
תודה.
שפו תמר.
תודה רבה.
אנחנו נלך עכשיו משיר עממי לשיר של מלחין אמיתי. אולי המלחין הטוב ביותר שקם לאנגליה מאז ועד היום.
אמת.
שמו?
הנרי פרסל.
מה זה יהיה?
Music for a while.
מוזיקה לעת מצוא, תרגום שתמר ואני פה אחד החלטנו עליו היום.
נכון.
מסורת חדשה.
Music
Andreas, it was so wonderful. It touched my heart. Your voice and Purcell. We are all familiar with Dido. And here is another.
Purcell was a wonderful song composer as well. Of course, he was known for his operas or music theater pieces, but there's beautiful world-class songs written by him as well.
And he died so young.
Yes.
And left so much.
A huge repertoire of also instrumental music, and for the countertenor voice, of course, this is one of the things that you learn as a student. Dowland, Purcell, it's like the daily bread of the countertenor.
And hard to imagine that this is one generation before Bach.
Yes.
And yet so advanced, so modern, so chromatic.
Yes, it's we actually discovered many pieces that we from early music, and we say the harmonic progressions here, it almost sounds like Bruckner or something. It kind of anticipates further styles, and that's the exciting thing about early music, about Renaissance Baroque music.
And Bach actually had so much to culminate, because what was growing before his time.
Exactly. It's not that Bach came out of nowhere, but he built his compositions, his foundations, or he built his compositions on the foundations of generations of wonderful composers who lived before him as well. Yeah.
Andreas, you sing this repertoire all over the world, and you are interviewed all over the world. And I'm sure that there are many questions that you have been asked. What was the most common question?
The most common question is, how do you become a countertenor? That's the most common question.
So, come to think of it, how did you become a countertenor?
That's an interesting question, actually. Yes, let me think. I started in a boys' choir in a little village. It's 4,000 people living there. Our house, where I grew up with my parents and my siblings, was right next to the church, and everybody sang in this church choir.
In Germany?
In Germany.
Where in Germany?
It's a little village called Kiedrich, close to the Rhine, about a 45 minutes drive from Frankfurt.
Vineyards?
Vineyards around, known for a fabulous Riesling. There's
really?
Excellent Riesling growing.
Really? Do you have your own Riesling?
No. Well, our family, we have vineyards, but we leased them to a wine producer. But until I was 18, until I went to the military in Germany, I did all the works, the manual labor with my grandfather and my father in the vineyards.
And that's the way you became a countertenor.
And then through the wine, maybe. But there's this choir, and we had singing lessons every day. And the voice broke, like with every male voice.
Haydn story?
Yes. And then I managed to, the vocal coach said, let's try and see how long we can keep the high voice. And then I was 16, 17, and she said, oh, you still sing soprano. This is not your children's voice anymore, and you have a baritone as a speaking voice. Maybe that's a countertenor or contratenor voice. That was the first time ever I heard about it, and then I thought, maybe I can do this professionally.
Next song is by Schubert.
Yes.
And here you can use your baritone as well as your...
As the head voice, yes. It's the Death and the Maiden, der Tod und das Mädchen. And when we prepared the piece, I thought, wouldn't it be a good idea to have the girl sing in my high voice? And when Death himself talks, I switch to my baritone.
Gib
תמר, השיר הבא הוא שוב שיר אנגלי, שיר עם.
נכון.
ואנחנו מזמינים את המילים.
המילים בתרגום חופשי לעברית. בבית הראשון הוא אומר, אני אתן לאהובתי תפוח ללא גרעין. אני אתן לה בית ללא דלת. אני אתן לה ארמון בו היא תהיה, ואותו היא תוכל לפתוח ללא מפתח. בבית השני יש תשובה, יש פתרון.
אז כל דבר הוא חידתי וגם אליגורי.
נכון. הפתרון בבית השני הוא שהראש שלי הוא התפוח בלי הגרעין. הנפש שלי היא הבית ללא הדלת, וליבי הוא הארמון בו תהיה אהובתי, אותו היא תפתח ללא מפתח.
And now, Andreas, you can guess my question to you. What is my question?
Whether I sing it to Tamar when I sing it,
No, would you give her the apple?
of course, she lives already in the palace of my heart, to use the language of the song.
I will give my love an apple without ever call. I will give my love a house without ever door. I will give my love a palace wherein she may be, and she may unlock it without any key. My head is the apple without ever call. My mind is the house without ever door. My heart is the palace wherein she may be, and she may unlock it without any key.
שמעתי את השיר הנהדר הזה עם לחלוכית בעין, ואמרתי לעצמי שוב, כן, כל שירי האהבה היפים צריכים להיות כל כך עצובים, כל כך מלאי כמיהה. איזה יופי. והפעם עם הנופך האנגלי, עם התבלין הבריטי הנהדר הזה של העתיקות. תודה רבה לאנדריאס, תודה רבה לתמר. אנחנו כאן בחינוכית כל כך שמחים שבאתם אלינו. תודה.